Namaste. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this evening's webinar on the topic of the influence of colors on our life and our consciousness. I am Brahmachari Aditya and I am speaking from the Pune city community, and we will be sharing this evening from Swami Kriyanandaji's book Living Wisely, Living Well, on the teachings that he has presented on the beautiful and very interesting, one might say slightly different topic than we think about every day, of colors. So let's begin with a prayer, some chanting, and a very brief meditation before we go into our subject this evening. So this evening's reading for May 11th from the book Living Wisely, Living Well by Swami Kriyanandaji is, he's talking about colors in the last few days, the readings and the readings for the next 2 days, and hence the theme of our satsang today. Indigo implies pure feelings and the love of beauty in all its manifestations. Choose this color to deepen your love for others and for God, as well as your appreciation for everything good in life. Indigo has its negative aspects, however, especially for those whose emotions take them downward. Don't let indigo generate in you attitudes of rejection or withdrawal. And it is so interesting. I also happen to be a doctor, and I remember when I was studying medicine, one of the things I would notice, I was repeatedly transferred in different hospitals, some government which were very old, some were newer, modern hospitals. Many were rural hospitals because that was my specialty and also my interest to be in the rural area to practice medicine. I saw that one thing which affected me more than the patients, I am sure I came to know later, it is a very universal phenomena, especially yogis have spoken about it, is the availability or the presence of the amount of light in your room. And I remember this one now, I know the topic is colors, but you see, colors are a manifestation, a reflection of light, and light is very central over here too. And I remember I was serving in Delhi in this one hospital where I had a patient, and she was recovering from multiple fractures and transplant because she underwent an accident and then subsequent surgeries. But at some point I felt that she was getting the best medicines, and I told her family members, I said, take her out, even if on a wheelchair, take her in the sun, in the wards, in the corridors, let her sit there for a while. And let her be in the park, let her walk or rub her feet against the grass. These things are very important. She has been in this room without a window sometimes. Some rooms were very, when you don't have rooms in a busy hospital, I remember some rooms didn't have a direct sunlight at all. And I said, it is not good for her. You won't believe, because of some complications, and her family was not very supportive in understanding her situation. She passed away. 2 months after surgery, when she was recovering, she suddenly deteriorated in 2-3 days and passed away because of lung complications. But I did feel that she should have been much more outdoors. I also then have been since then very interested in how architecture and especially windows, sunlight, the light of colors helps us. I also saw another movie by a rural doctor based on his life, where he had a patient who was an amputee from war and was tremendously depressed, and he had to be in bed for a very long time. So what this doctor would say when he used to come for his rounds was, how beautiful are these flowers, I cannot believe this. And he says, you all must see those flowers. And everybody in that room except for this person who did not have legs knew that there were no flowers outside. But the doctor was always saying this. He says, you should come with me someday outside and see the beautiful colors of these flowers. And oh my goodness, what a rainbow I am seeing this morning because of the morning rain. And at the end, it is said that this man woke up and finally gathered the strength and energy to go to the wall, to the window. And he couldn't believe it was a bare ground. There was nothing. And he wept that he had been cheated, and he fell to the ground. And then others came up to him and said, didn't you see what a miracle happened in your walking to that place? That light, color, they have much deeper influence on our lives than we can imagine. Yogananda ji one time, I am not sure, I have not read this story, but he was speaking of, I think, the quality of water or the lifespan of chickens at another time, and he said if the water or if the rays of the sunlight could pass through a blue filter, or if water could be kept in a blue container, it would be much more charged. And now people are discovering those things. I want to also share, let's start on a very simple level. We all have gone shopping for toys, we have gone shopping for clothes, and what do we choose? Well, most often, we are dictated by what we like, and you can see an entire country going for a certain color. I remember my first visit to Europe in 2011 to Italy. We were in Mumbai about to take off the next day, and while we were roaming over there, I saw this beautiful shirt on display which it was like a rainbow and more, you can say. Kriyananda ji, a year later when he saw that shirt, he said to the person, I had gifted it to Brian, one of our members, he told Brian, he says, that is some shirt. And I can see why he said that. It had so many bright colors, and I bought that shirt and I put it on my journey to Italy, and when we landed over there, I later came to know that most people in Europe, because the climate there is quite cold in winter, they wear the shades of grey, black, white and brown, the darker shades more often. And here we are, my uniform also happens to be yellow, as you can see. So I had yellow pajamas, blue chappals, and this colorful shirt on me, and I was carrying a luggage bag which was bright blue in color, and we landed at the Rome airport, but we didn't know which train to take to reach our community there. So one of our members went to the inquiry counter, and we were all waiting, and the lady who was on the other side, she was talking to him but kept looking at our group, and all of us were in very bright colors. And when he came back, we said, so did you find out which train we have to take? And he said, yeah, she told me, go down this corridor and you find the train. But she also told me to let you all know that, she said, your friends are very colorful. And India is a country where very bright colors, cheerful colors, seasons come and go in all the kinds. So we see a lot of bright colors. But people should be much more conscious. When we go out to buy colors or clothes, many times we are choosing something that is in trend, which may not be the best guide. Kriyananda ji said color has a very direct impact on our moods, as we read in that reading. Violet, indigo, it can have a very uplifting, color inspiration and effect on us. At the same time, I could see the second half of his reading. He said, if your emotions go downward, because as a doctor, you also see people who are in depression. And I have seen many times that dark colors, and indigo is on that shade. People can choose a darker shade, and then they are slouching. I can actually visualize some of my patients who often chose that color, that it does not have the best influence on us. On the other hand, he also said, Swamiji, that the clothes we wear should be more for uplifting or inspiring or giving a soothing, pleasing effect to other people. How many times do we choose clothes for that reason? That Swamiji also mentioned in that previous readings over there, that the colors of the rainbow, let's start with red. Red is a color, he said, of cheerfulness. It can also get very aggressive, but he said, if chosen in the right shade and for your right nature. Remember, in periods of silence, when we are reflective, we all can touch a part of us which is our true nature. Some of us are more, let's say, outgoing or energetic, enthusiastic, others are more calm, reserved, and that has its power too, and so on and so forth. So Swamiji says that these are suggestions, and choose a color that will enhance your essential nature. So red, as I said, is a color of creativity, a color of energy. Orange, Swami Kriyananda ji said, is a color of enthusiasm, to overcome our attachments and limitations. And chosen in the right way, you can see that many sadhus in India, they get the color, ochre they say, but it can be chosen in a shade which is slightly more, you can say, vibrant and upbeat and uplifting. And it does signify that. A sadhu's walk, it says in the Bhagavad Gita, is a very intentional, and it's not a slow or boring, sluggish walk by any means. They are up and about, a transformative process in themselves. And you can see this orange color is also affirming the same quality. Orange, the fruit, has that color, and Yogananda ji said it stands for enthusiasm, and you can see world over athletes love orange juice by and large. The next color is the color of yellow, which Yogananda ji said, by the way, all these colors have a deep spiritual significance also. In our meditations, we can see these colors. They also symbolize in the yogic anatomy the colors. These 7 colors of the rainbow are represented in what is known as the chakra system, or the energy centers in our astral body, or the energy body, which is said to be the blueprint from which our physical bodies take shape. And I will do some readings at the end of our session from Autobiography of a Yogi, where Paramhans Yogananda Ji's Guru talks about it. Coming to the color yellow, Paramhans Yogananda Ji said it is a color of wisdom, calm acceptance and creativity. And you can see my monastic color is yellow. Monks in Ananda wear this color, and many other monastic traditions too. And I remember last year, 2 years ago, I went to my school, my very first school, kindergarten, which happened to be in Pune, and I thought, let me see if my teacher, is still in school. And I went, and she was very much there. She's now an elderly lady, but I entered her classroom, and she was already teaching 6, 7, very young boys, maybe 4 years old, 3, and I quietly sat down on one of the small stools. But I had gone in this monastic dress, and I was very keen to see. I had forgotten maybe, or maybe there wasn't a uniform when I was that small. All the boys were wearing a yellow jersey. And later on, when she took the time to speak with me, she said, I introduced myself, and she said, that's so interesting. She said, you're wearing yellow. She said, do you know why these boys are wearing yellow? She said, it's, by the way, one of my favorite colors. I said, no. She said, it is the color, it is said to be the color of intelligence. It sparks creativity. And I was so intrigued that her thoughts and experience were the same as what Swami Kriyananda Ji and Yogananda Ji had said. And now you may say, how is it possible? Or does it really have a link? Well, let me give you this example. In the same trip in 2011, I got my first astrological reading in Italy. And I was very fascinated, because I have this intellectual curiosity being a doctor, by what our astrologer over there said to me. He said, do you like the color yellow? I said, of course. I said, it's my monastic color and I wear it all the time. I really like it. I said, but sometimes I mix it with white. And he pointed it out, that trend, the liking or inclination for that in my astrological reading. He says, you do that because, he says, yellow is a very outgoing color. And he said, you like it till it takes you too far out. And he says, then what you're looking for is inner peace. And he says, white is the color that provides that. So you're looking for white, and hence you combine the two. And when I look back, he was so right. There were some mornings when I said, I'd like to wear a white t-shirt on my yellow pajamas. Or I have these white long kurtas, which I would, if I had to do some work, write some mails, or sit in my clinic with patients, I would just choose white for a while, or spread white on my table. I also remember, before I took this reading in Pune, one building complex close to our ashram, the architect, the builder, made it yellow and white buildings. And believe me, whenever I used to pass my bike through those buildings, I would inwardly feast my eyes on those colors and thank them. I said, what a beautiful color, what a pretty color they've chosen. God bless the person who painted it in this combination. That day I came to know why those were, you might say now, resonating with my inner nature. It was also pointed out in my astrology that red will be a wonderful color to wear once in a while. And red is a bright color for everyone. And I had 2 t-shirts which I would almost avoid wearing, because red and yellow can be a very, very bright combination. But I was told, once in a while when you're doing seva or something and you feel you want to raise your inner energy, try some red. Those also happen to be the color of our chakras, as I said, but also of astrological stones that universally people wear. So this is a very interesting deep science. And when we get calm enough, intuitive enough, Kriyananda Ji used to say that just as a little boy, he would sometimes get under a table, the dining table, and allow these beautiful colored blankets to fall on the sides, and the sun rays, as they would hit those colors, he said, I was verily in a world of my own, surrounded by these beautiful colors, and I used to drink them. I used to love to live in those colors. I also, read that Yogananda ji said that small children who have just been born, their toys are bright because they have come from the astral world where bright colors are the norm. And bright colors, by the way, uplift our consciousness and bring greater clarity, cheer and joy to us. Anyway, coming to the next color in the rainbow is green. And green is the color of the heart. I'll tell you another very interesting story about this. Years ago, we met a lady, a group of us on the train, and she was intrigued knowing that we are from an ashram, and she said, I want to know more about yoga. She was from the UK, and she said that she sometimes saw a green color around people, things, everything, and her family would make fun of her that, my goodness, why are you seeing grass all the time? You've been working in the garden too long. And she said, it's not grass, and I explained to her that what you're seeing is the color of the heart chakra. And she was a deep meditator, she was a nurse. She had love, and sometimes it happens, I have rarely seen colors in meditation, but many people do see colors. Actually, we all see some or the other color. So, this is a very interesting proof. Yogananda ji's guru said we are now in an age of energy, where our inner energy is also globally rising. And when that happens, people are getting these experiences and they want to know. Yogananda ji said we should not look for these things all the time, because the path to God is not a circus. He said, but these are inner realities, and at different times they come to our notice. When we come up higher in the range on the rainbow and also in our own inner system, we encounter the color blue, which, as you all probably know, Kriyananda ji chose the deep blue, calm color for the Naya Swami order. And it is a color of calmness, of acceptance, of universality, of oneness. And many people have told us when they come to our ashram that this is such a beautiful color. We feel so connected, we feel so inclusive, we feel included in this process, and there's no distance or barrier we feel between the senior acharyas, the Naya Swamis, and our color. Actually, I was recently doing a class in a college, it was an IT college, and one student asked this question. He said, I've been noticing that Twitter is blue, Facebook uses blue, Microsoft's background is blue, the Naya Swami order is blue. Can you tell me why people are using so much blue? And it was a very interesting observation he made, and I said, it's a color of calmness, and maybe more and more people are coming to discover and feel it. You see, colors, outside reality feeds us. When we prepare our food, Yogananda ji said the process of gaining health and vitality begins from sight. If the food is multicolored, like salads, a sprinkling. I remember once somebody told me that during her fasts, she was given the advice to sprinkle a little bit of turmeric into the plain white rice. And the lady told me that it gave her so much energy. She was able to be, much more energetic and maintain her, energy levels very high. The, functioning and her mental activity did not go low, which can happen during fast. So when we are sensitive, or like Swamiji used to do, when we seek those things, it is quite possible that those colors will feed us. In the next, in the Vibgyor sequence is the indigo color, and then comes violet. And these two colors, as we read about indigo and now violet, are the colors of our highest chakras, the spiritual eye, and also the Sahasrara. These are colors of high-mindedness, of nobility, of seeing, the presence of a divine hand in everything. And we can attune ourselves to that reality if we wear those colors with that consciousness. Swamiji also pointed out that in deep meditation we can see what is called the spiritual eye in front of us, ahead of us and slightly above. And he says this spiritual eye is seen as a yellow light, golden yellow, three-dimensional tunnel which represents the astral world. Then he said there is a blue light, deep blue, purple field, which is the causal world. And then in the middle is a five-pointed white star, and that star is he said you have to penetrate your consciousness and merge it with that star, through that star, And that, he says, then our consciousness merges with God. And it is so interesting that white is also the blend or the color of all these 7 colors in the rainbow. Yogananda ji said that white is a color of purity. When our energy is moving up towards the brain, it can awaken within us calmness, compassion, kindness, understanding of others' reality. It is a very uplifting color, and many spiritual groups worldwide adopt that color. But Kriyananda ji pointed out that if our energy is not moving dynamically and in the upward direction, it can make us very wan and our approach to life very bland. So we should be careful about that. I want to now read from Autobiography of a Yogi, Paramhansa Yogananda ji's book, chapter 43, The Resurrection of Sri Yukteswar. It's a very interesting chapter where Yogananda ji's guru is talking about life in other planes of existence. We are in the physical plane. It is said that there is a causal plane of thoughts and then an astral plane of energy and colors. And I picked some lines which will tell us how important these colors are. You see, sometimes in meditation we see colors. Kriyananda ji said when we are in super consciousness, he says those colors are very bright. They feed us. They change us. They inspire us. Those colors can be very muddy and confusing also. I once remember walked into a store and everything was dark brown, green, grey. Even if there was a white, there was some black or grey lining on it. And the people told me that our theme is Earth, our planet, and all colors. These are the colors we keep. I was wondering later, what about snow? What about a rainbow? What about the moon? On the sky, pristine blue waters, leaves, flowers, they are also part of the earth. Why just think of mud? There are so many more brighter colors. So here, Yogananda ji's guru is describing some of these bright colors and his experiences. First of all, Yogananda ji says of how the experience began. Lord Krishna, the glorious form of the appeared in a shimmering blaze as I sat in my room at the Regent Hotel in Mumbai, shining over the roof of a high building across the street. This was in the afternoon. Still he could see this shimmering light. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita that when the light of God appears, Arjuna is said to have seen the light of 1,000 suns at the same time. Still it does not hurt our eyes. It's a very divine kind of mellow light. And I think that's what Yogananda ji is describing over here. Then Sri Yukteswar ji says, there are many astral planets teeming with astral beings. The inhabitants use astral planes or masses of light to travel from one planet to another, faster than electricity and radioactive energies. The astral universe, made of various subtle vibrations of light and colors, is hundreds of times larger than the material cosmos. The astral planets maintain the even temperature of an eternal spring with occasional luminous white snow and rain of many colored lights. He goes on to talk of the bodies over there. The heart draws cosmic energy as well as light from the astral brain and pumps it into the astral nerves and body cells or life trance. He goes on to speak of astrally colorful materialized bodies that people adorn over there, luminous ray-like vegetables of different colors in the astral soils. And then music of different spheres, and then tremendous experiences of light. But remember friends, the important thing for us as devotees is to awaken our consciousness, to live in the higher consciousness. Remember that this may not be very major. Music is said to be one of those imports on our senses which has a very major impact on our consciousness, but light too. Kriyananda ji used to say that these yellow lights that have come into the homes nowadays, it's much better to use that than the cold, steely, white light, which is often you can even see sterile. So see if you are feeling like that, and let us see how we can make our lives more colorful. Surround yourselves with bright colors. Paint your houses in shades which might be soothing and more comforting. Maybe choose curtains and such, even the color of your car on that theme, and it will certainly transform our life. God bless you. Thanks for joining this evening.